Hi, everybody. This is Heather from Flavorful Tea and Fruit Company. Thank you again for stopping by to watch another one of my videos. And if you haven't watched one of my videos before, well, welcome. I am fairly new to making videos, so please forgive me if I have any stutters or if I have something where I kind of stop and have to rethink. I really want to make these videos as authentic as possible because, believe it or not, when you are making videos, you make mistakes. And I want to show to you that even if you make mistakes, you are still being able to share the information you have. And as I learn, things are going to change. And I really appreciate it for you guys to coming along to watch my videos and to learn more about tea. Now, I have been going on a little bit of a craze with some of my videos where I'm going through the ingredients for each of my teas. Now, remember at this time, currently in July of 2024, I have 120 plus different tea blends, meaning that there are a lot of different things that you can try, and basically I may have virtually everything. Well, not everything, as I know I don't have everything, but a lot of the rare forms of tea, if you've never had them before, this is going to be a great opportunity for you to try them. And there are going to be some of those more distinct kind of flavors that maybe you've never had in a tea before. And today is actually a tea. This is green tea coming out of Japan. This is specifically a type, well, one of them is Japan, one of them is China, and also the green tea in itself is something that there are two different kinds, and that's why I want to show you that even though these are basically the same exact thing, these are called a Genmaicha, meaning that the matcha part of it is actually the green tea, and the gen part is actually these rice kernels that are roasted, and sometimes, occasionally, you will find out that they turn into what looks like popcorn. But this is not popcorn. This is actually rice that is roasted that sometimes pops into what looks like popcorn. Now, have I tried it to see if it actually tastes like popcorn? No. No, 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 no. I wouldn't suggest doing that, but if you would like to be adventurous, by all means, go ahead. But let's start off with this. What the heck is the difference between these? One looks like there's a little bit more popped kernels of rice kernels, and one looks a little bit less. But believe it or not, there are two different types of green tea in this, so that's what makes these different. And they have different price points and quality based off of those different types of green tea. So this specific one over here is literally has a type of green tea called Bancha. Bancha. It comes from China. It is a lower grade green tea compared to Sencha, which comes from this one over here that comes out of Japan. Now, Bancha green tea, when I say it is of lower quality, that does not mean that it is a bad green tea. No, it just means that this is easier. It's not necessarily easier, but it's made in higher quantities and does not cost as much because there's not as much of a processing to it. But when it comes to Sencha and coming from Japan, there's a whole different structure when it comes to the different tastes. And if you've ever had Sencha green tea just by itself, you're going to notice that there is a distinct flavor profile. And if you've also had Bancha green tea by itself, there is a distinct flavor profile, and they are not the same thing. So, the rice kernels actually look fairly similar on each of them. I'm trying to grab one of them right here. So this is what these rice kernels look like, and I'm going to try to move back so you can actually see it. These these little rice kernels, what they do is they roast them, and because they are roasting them, sometimes the heat is just enough where they are able to make them pop into what looks like little pieces of popcorn. But this is not necessarily popcorn. It is made out of rice rather than the actual corn that we would actually make popcorn out of. Now, when we look at the different kinds of green tea, the Bancha green tea is going to look like this. It's very straight. It's a dark green color. And yes, I know I just had a little thing fall off. It's probably on my computer. But then when we look at the Sencha green tea, let me see if I can grab one of these guys. You're going to notice that it's thicker. Sencha is a thicker green leaf. It is rolled in a certain way also. It is sort of the same color, that kind of darkish forest green, but there is also a different aroma. When it comes to Bancha, I am able to smell the Bancha quite a lot in here, and is not as much of the rice or roasted flavor that you're going to get with this. And when it comes to the Sencha, I can smell more of the roasted rice than I can of the green tea. Now, is there a difference between how much is put in here? Is there more rice in the Bancha than the green tea or than the Sencha one? No, they actually have the same proportions as they would have for each of them. So there's the same amount of rice, roasted rice, and those kind of kernels as there is in this one. Now, when it comes to the flavor profile, I personally actually like the Bancha flavor more because I get a little bit more of a roasted flavor, even though I can smell the green tea more in the Bancha rather than the Sencha over here. They both have distinct flavor profiles. If you've never had a green tea that is roasted and kind of reminds you of popcorn, because it really does taste like you're drinking popcorn. And that can be a little bit of a weird kind of thing to think of, but it is a flavor profile and aroma that is actually quite soothing through the stomach. Now, this is a green tea, so there is about a mid level of caffeine. So there's going to be around 60 milligrams of caffeine per cup. So that can be a 6 to 8 ounce cup. You do want to be careful when you actually are infusing these because if you infuse it too hot, you will have a risk of making the green tea bitter. That goes for both the Bancha and the Sencha green tea. Now, the rice kernels really are not going to have any issues with it. It's the actual green tea that can actually get really bitter. But if you like that bitterness of green tea, you can make it at a higher temperature. But I would suggest if you want to get the best flavor profile out of both of these, the Bancha Genmaicha and the Sencha Genmaicha, then what you need to do is you don't want to infuse it any higher than 180 degrees. And you only wanted to let it infuse for about 2 to 3 minutes. Now start with 2 minutes, taste it, see if it's strong enough, and if it isn't, let it go for another minute. If you still think after 3 minutes that it is not enough time, then do it 30 seconds after each time. So do 3 minutes and 30 seconds and taste it again and go from there. If you go over 5 minutes, there is a risk that you are going to start muddling those flavors, and you do not want those flavors to be infusing for too long because infusing green tea for too long can also make it bitter regardless of the actual temperature of the water. Now, I will have in the description where you guys can purchase this. I'm also going to have in the description if I'm going to have this as one of my samples for the Appleton Farmers Market. So if you are ever in Northeast Wisconsin, in Appleton, Wisconsin, on a Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12:30, come down to College Ave, go over by Bonafide Juicery. It is on the south side of College Ave. That is where our booth is, and we have 3 different types of samples every single week based off of a theme. And since this is a green tea, this is most likely going to be in our Japanese week or our green tea week, which I think I actually combined together. Otherwise, guys, if you have any questions about these Genmaichas or if you've ever tried them before, but if maybe you haven't tried the Bancha version or the Sencha version, or you've tried them both, tell me which one you prefer. Otherwise, guys, have a great day, and I hope you learned something new today.